Education Minister and ADC Vice Presidential candidate Rotimi Amaechi challenged Nigerians to look beyond ethnicity, region, and political affiliation when choosing their leaders. He argued that politicians seeking public office should be judged by what they achieve while in government and held accountable for their records. But the position drew a strong response from African Action Congress presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Sowore questioned the records of politicians who have previously occupied positions of authority and are now seeking another opportunity to lead the country.
Who has been consistent about non-removal of fuel subsidy? It has been me. And it took Amaechi and his principal almost 10 years to catch up with me. They have now reversed their position on fuel subsidy. The question about subsidy is, who are you subsidizing? You are subsidizing the elite. You are subsidizing the governors. The only people who are doing well since they removed subsidy are the governors of states.
The exchange brought into sharp focus one of the key issues likely to shape the 2027 election: whether Nigerians will prioritize political experience, past performance, and accountability over party, ethnicity, and regional interest. At the heart of the debate is a question that continues to dominate Nigeria's political conversation: what should qualify a politician to ask Nigerians for their votes? Ubong Utoro, Global TV News.
You may like him as a person, but he did not perform.
The Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reconsider running for office in the 2027 elections, saying the president must prove that he can handle Nigeria better before considering seeking another term. The national chairman of the party, Samuel Mema, made the call while addressing party members in Abuja. A correspondent brings the report.
The Democratic Leadership Alliance is positioning itself ahead of the 2027 general elections as political parties and aspirants continue to mobilize support across the country. The national chairman of the party, Samuel Mema, said President Bola Tinubu should reconsider running for office in 2027, insisting that the president must first prove that he can handle Nigeria better.
To serve the people should not be asked to continue suffering indefinitely without seeing results. I therefore call on the President, Mr. President, Nigeria must come first, the security of our people must come first, the welfare of Nigerians must come first.
Also speaking, the presidential candidate of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, Ambassador Moses Adebisi, called on Nigerian youth to join the party and participate actively in the political process.
Do not understand the basic economic system, do not have business running our country. That is the assignment that God has given to us in this generation. And thank God for the classes of people we have in this, our ecosystem right here, and we are welcoming more people into it. Those that have the ability of real transformations, those that have the knowledge to build something. If the goal is won, the battle must be won.
The party says it will continue to mobilize Nigerians, particularly young people, as it prepares for the 2027 general elections. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
The Nigeria Police Force has honored 10 officers killed in a gun battle with suspected bandits in Kebbi State, with Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu assuring their families that their sacrifices will not be forgotten. At the memorial service in Abuja, Disu said the fallen officers displayed exceptional courage and remain committed to duty until the end, adding that the police will not be intimidated by criminal elements. Kikelo Mokere brings the report.
The officers were killed on August 10 along the Makoko axis of Sakaba local government area while confronting a heavily armed bandit group. 2 other officers were injured in the encounter, while police authorities says 17 suspected bandits were neutralized and 4 motorcycles destroyed. At a memorial service in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police Olatunji Diso described the fallen officers as courageous personnel who remain committed to their duty despite danger involved. He says the police will remain resolute in the fight against criminal elements and will not be intimidated by attacks on its personnel.
We shall continue to work with the armed forces, sister security agencies, state governments, and our communities to confront banditry, terrorism, and every form of violence, criminality threatening our nation. We shall not be intimidated, we shall not relent, and we shall not allow the sacrifice of our fallen heroes to be in vain. We will continue to pursue these criminal elements, disrupt.
The police chief disclosed that outstanding financial benefits owed to deceased police officers had been paid, while applicants by some families for recruitment for their relative had also been approved.
I stand on behalf of the Nigerian Police Force my deepest condolences. We grieve with you, we stand with you, and we will not abandon you. We will not abandon you.
Commander of Special Intervention Squad, CP Abayomi Shogunle, described the officers as courageous and highly trained, saying further assessment showed significant casualties among the suspected bandits.
Honor the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of these gallant officers. Their service and sacrifice to the nation will never be forgotten.
Faith Balabuba, a relative of one of the deceased officers, thanked the police for its support and appealed for continued assistance to the bereaved families. She also urged the police force to consider recruiting relatives of the fallen officers.
I want to also say thank you for the IG. Please, he should help each and every one of the family. They should not abandon us. Some of us also apply for the police form. Please, they should help us.
The officers remembered were ASP Balabula, Inspector Stephen Simon, Inspector Solomon Jatu, Inspector Ayuba Azan, Inspector Umar Yahuza, Inspector Awal Sani, Inspector Abdullahi Magaji, Sergeant Momo Jimon, among others. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Borno State Governor Professor Babangana Umaru Zulum has thrown his weight behind the re-election bid of Kebbi State Governor Dr. Nazir Idris, urging the people of the state to support continuity for another 4 years. Governor Zulum gave the endorsement in Maiduguri when the delegation of Kebbi State media aides, led by the Commissioner of Information and Culture, Yakubu Ahmed Birni Kebbi, paid him a courtesy visit. Sadia Yakubu has the details.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum says Governor Idris has demonstrated the leadership, vision, and capacity needed to sustain Kebbi's development and take the state to greater heights. The Borno governor said his assessment of developments in Kebbi showed significant progress in critical sectors including security, education, agriculture, healthcare, and infrastructure. Recalling his visit to Kebbi State last year, Zulum said he was impressed by the pace of development and the transformation taking place across the state. The Borno governor said sustaining these initiatives requires continuity in leadership. He therefore called on the people of Kebbi State to give Governor Nasir Idris another 4-year mandate, saying this would enable the administration consolidate its achievement and deepen development across the state.
Governor Bagudu spent 8 years under the platform of APC, and he has done 4 years. Kebbi State will witness phenomenal growth if he is being re-elected. Continuity is very important. Otherwise, there will be distractions and things will not move forward. Above all, I believe he has done well, especially in the area of security. You can see, to my own observation, the security situation in Kebbi State has improved.
Earlier, the Kebbi State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Yakubu Ahmed Birni Kebbi, said the delegation was in Maiduguri to strengthen the long-standing relationship between Kebbi and Borno State. He said the visit was also an opportunity to understudy Borno's experience in security management, public communication, and governance. He described the honor as a symbol of the strong bond, friendship, and cooperation between the two states. The engagement further provided an avenue for both states to exchange ideas and share governance experiences. The continued collaboration between Kebbi and Borno is expected to strengthen interstate partnerships and promote the sharing of best practices in governance and public service. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
Abuja continues to expand. Rapid construction of buildings, roads, and other infrastructure is putting some of the city's green spaces under pressure. In different parts of the Federal Capital Territory, trees, parks, and open spaces are gradually giving way to development, raising concerns about the environmental and social impact of losing those areas. But how much of Abuja's green landscape is being lost? Why it is happening? And what could it mean for the city and its residents? Hassan Rodiat brings this report.
Abuja is known for its planned layout, wild road and relative green landscape. Across the Federal Capital Territory, parks, gardens, trees and open spaces provide residents with places to relax, exercise and connect with nature. But as the city grows, loss of vegetation can also have consequences for the environment. Trees help absorb carbon dioxide and provide shade, support biodiversity, while open spaces allow rainwater to seal into the soil.
Let me just make an example with Millennium Park. I think before, the size of the place is bigger than before, but due to the rate of development, construction have still reduced the size, I would say so.
For many residents, these green spaces are more than just empty pieces of land. They provide shade, improve the appearance of neighborhood, and offer a place for recreation. But with the increasing construction, some residents are concerned that these spaces are gradually disappearing.
Abuja doesn't have much green spaces. Unlike before, unlike in 10, 20 years ago, there are more green spaces. A places for relaxation, for leisure. But unfortunately,
as construction continues, some residents are worried about the loss of their spaces and the effect it could have on the environment and their daily lives.
Maybe not a lot of notable areas, but yes, compared to 3 or 4 years ago, there are most or major areas that have been replaced, most parks that have been replaced by buildings and infrastructures and the likes, yes.
As Abuja continues to expand, the question is no longer simply how much the city can build, but how it can grow without losing the green spaces that makes it livable.
Responsibility therefore lies with the planners, developer and relevant authority to ensure that development and preservation can exist side by side. Hassan Rodiat, Global Television.
Thank you, Rodiat. The cost of moving around Abuja is rising, and for thousands of residents who depend on public transportation, the increase is coming at a steep price. Every journey now takes a bigger share of daily earnings, leaving commuters with less money for food, school, household expenses, and other basic needs. Angel Durugo has the details.
At bus stops and major transport routes across Abuja, the familiar rush for vehicle is being matched by a growing concern. How much will the next trip cost? For workers traveling to and from their offices, students heading to school, and traders moving goods to the market, transportation is an unavoidable daily expense. But as fares rise, many computers say their income is no longer keeping pace with the cost of getting around the city. The impact is forcing difficult choices. Some are cutting down on trips, others are working where possible, while some are searching for cheaper transport options.
The impact is terrible. The impact is terrible. For instance, some of us that we have cars, the fuel that we used to buy, maybe like 8,000 naira to fill our tank before, years back now, you spend more than 60,000 naira, so it's terrible. Then using transportation, some places you go to, you spend 1,002, 1,005, 2,000 naira, go and come back. now is high.
But transport operators say the pressure is not coming from the passengers alone. The cost of fuel, spare parts, tires, repairs, and general vehicle maintenance has increased, making it more expensive to keep commercial vehicles on the road. Operators say without corresponding adjustments in fares, running their businesses has become increasingly difficult.
The thing is that they brought out a good initiative, which was CNG. If CNG was available throughout the country, with their stations available, it would have been more cheaper, would have been more better. Because CNG is actually cheap, but the problem is that they are not running it well. So transport is actually high because of subsidy removal. But if CNG was able to work well, transport would have been much cheaper.
Yet, for commuters, every fare increase has a direct impact on the household budgets. A few extra naira on each journey may appear small, but for someone making several trips a day, the additional cost can quickly consume a significant portion of their earnings. And as Abuja continues to expand, the question remains: how long can residents continue to absorb rising transportation costs? Fares continue to rise. Residents are calling for practical measures to reduce the costs of commuting, while transport operators seek the solution for the rising costs of their businesses. Durugo Angel, Global TV News.
Watching the live broadcast of News Prime. We'll come back after this weather forecast. Please stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. The weather pattern remains quite active, with a belt of thunderstorms gradually propagating westwards across the country. By Tuesday morning, some areas in the west could experience a brief reduction in storm activity, but this is likely to change later in the day as more thunderstorms are expected to develop across much of the southern half of the country and part of the northwestern region as well. On our impact-based forecast map, the orange zones, particularly across the eastern parts of Adamawa, Taraba, some parts of Benue and Cross River states, are expected to indicate moderate to heavy rainfall during the morning hours. The yellow areas may experience light to moderate rainfall, while very little light rainfall is expected across the green zones over the next 24 hours. And as these storms continue drifting southward, rainfall activity is becoming increasingly concentrated and more intense across the southern region of the country. So wherever you are, keep an eye on the sky, plan your outdoor activities carefully, and stay weather aware. Thank you for watching.
From that break, now let's get to business. The 36 state governors are facing growing pressure to account for how they have spent public funds disbursed as revenue by the Federation Account Allocation Committee in the last 3 years. The scrutiny follows a revelation that the Federation account disbursed about 47 trillion to the 3 tiers of government in the last 3 years. We go to the foreign scene now, where Pope Leo XIV has called for artificial intelligence to be disarmed, warning that the rapidly developing technology must not become a tool of domination, exclusion, or death. Presenting his first Encyclica Magnificat Humanitas at the Vatican, the Pope urged technology leaders, government, and society to ensure AI serves humanity and the common good. Mukhtar Kasim reports.
Pope Leo XIV made the call during the presentation of his long-awaited manifesto on artificial intelligence, attended by religious leaders and technology experts, including Anthropic co-founder Christopher Ole. The Pope said AI is developing at a pace that requires stronger ethical safeguards and greater responsibility over how the technology is designed and deployed.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity. In a similar sense, artificial intelligence now demands to be disarmed, freed from logics that turn it into an instrument of domination, exclusion, and death.
Christopher Ole, co-founder of Anthropic, one of the companies at the forefront of artificial intelligence development, also spoke at the Vatican presentation. He acknowledged that AI companies face competition and pressure as they race to remain commercially viable and at the forefront of research.
Every frontier AI lab, including Anthropic, operates inside a set of incentives and constraints that can sometimes conflict with doing the right thing. The pressure to stay commercially viable and to stay at the frontier of research. Geopolitical pressure and the older, plainer pressures of pride and ambition. No matter how sincerely any of us intend to do the right thing, and I believe many of us do, we will always be influenced by those incentives.
The Vatican says growing influence of artificial intelligence raises urgent questions about ethics, accountability, and who ultimately controls the technology, as governments, technology companies, and civil society grapple with the rapid development. Calls are growing for a stronger safeguard to ensure AI advances in ways that protect human dignity and serve the wider public interest. Mukhtar Kasim, Global TV News.
UEFA has set September 2nd, 2026 as the deadline for clubs to submit their list for 2026-2027 Champions League phase, with clubs allowed to register a maximum of 25 players. Bayern Munich striker Harry Kane was voted the 2026 Player of the Year in Germany by an association of sports journalists on Sunday, finishing ahead of teammate Michael Olise. England captain won the award after a stellar season, winning the Bundesliga and German Cup, while Bayern also reached the Champions League semi-final. Spain, Kane scored a total of 61 goals for the club last season in our competition. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigerian Police Force has honored 10 officers killed in a gun battle with suspected bandits in Kebbi State, with Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu assuring their families that their sacrifices will not be forgotten. In business, the 36 state governors are facing growing pressure to account for how they've spent public funds disbursed as revenue by the Federation Account Allocation Committee in the last 3 years. At the public scene, Pope Leo XIV has called for artificial intelligence to be disarmed, warning that rapidly developing technology must not become a tool of domination, exclusion, or death. In sports, UEFA has set the September 2nd, 2026 as the deadline for clubs to submit their List A for squads for 2026-2027 Champions League phase, with clubs allowed to register a maximum of 25 players. And that's it on News Prime. Here's a quick reminder, Global TV is on DSTV channel 365. We're on StarTimes channel 276 and Free TV. Kindly do follow us across all social media platforms now appearing on your screen, and please use our Global TV NG. My name is Ubon Usoro. Many thanks for watching.